Hey there, this is Kurt of Trades here, and this is a 5-year user review of Hydronic in-floor heat. And basically what that is it's radiant heat with water tubes through a cement slab floor that is used to heat your house in the winter. Alright, so for this review I'm going to give a quick overview of how the system works. Then I'm going to give my pros and cons list of what I like and dislike about it. And then I'm going to give a recommendation for if I like it or not, and if I would put it in another home, and if I would change anything with the setup of the house. And I've had this home for about 5 years. It was built new, and this is a brand new system put in when the house was built. And yeah, I'm going to go over those things. Alright, I'm going to start here at the water heater, and if you notice there are two pipes coming off of the outgoing heat and the intake, and they basically go out to this side, and there's a pump here that will push the hot water into the heat exchanger and then back over to the tank with an expansion tank here. And so this side of the system is for the home, the domestic water, which goes to your drinking water and to your hot water for your showers and things like that. This side is for the floor, and it is completely separate from the water that you drink. So this heat exchange exchanges the heat from the hot water to the floor side. So this the water doesn't go from one side to the other, it stays separate. Now, this is the floor side, the in-floor heat side, and basically the water goes through. It goes down into these pipes, these PEX pipes, which are plastic that are put into the floor when the cement is poured, and then they come back up onto the bottom side here and out this way. And then they go back up, and there's a few pumps up here that pump the water through the whole system. There's an expansion tank, and then this is connected to your thermostat, basically telling it when to turn on the pumps to pump the warm water through. So again, this is a pretty quick review and just kind of giving my thoughts about if I like this system, what I like about it, and what I dislike. I'm going to start with the things I like about it. It's a very even heat, which is very nice because you won't get super hot if you're sitting by a vent. Certain rooms won't get really warm or really cold. And it heats all the objects that are in your home, and it doesn't just blast warm air at you. So it's a very even heat, which is very nice. And again, it doesn't feel like you're sweating 1 minute and freezing the next, depending on where you're at in the house. So it's a very even heat, which is nice. The other thing I really like about it is it's very quiet. You don't have the noise of a forced air system blasting air through your house. So it's extremely quiet. The loudest thing it makes is you can hear the pumps pushing the water through the system, which aren't very loud. And honestly, if you don't have your house, or if you don't have your room or where you're at near this area, then the only thing you'll hear is your thermostat clicking on and off. So it's very quiet, which is nice. The other thing I really like about it is the fact that there's no air ducts in our house, and they hold a lot of dust, and it's pretty bad for allergies and things like that when air is being blown around with dust particles and things like that in it. So there's no air ducts at all in our home. Onto the downsides, it takes a little while to heat up and cool down. It takes about 4 hours to fully heat up from cold. So on like spring days and fall days where it's really cold at night and really warm during the day, it can get a little warm towards the end of the day, and it can get really cold during the morning hours. So it's nice to also have a secondary heating system. We have a mini split air conditioner and heater that we can turn on for those situations where it is taking a few hours to heat up. But when you're in the middle of winter, when it's really cold, it stays on almost all the time, and it's super even heat then. So that's kind of one little annoying thing about it in the warm and cold cycles. Another thing I don't really like about it is the fact that the air conditioning isn't used the same way, because in the middle of the summer we have our mini split that cools the house down, but on the other end of the house it gets pretty warm, and depending on your house setup, you might want 2 mini splits, or again, it depends on how your house is laid out, but the air conditioning, I would rather have central air, I think, than what I have right now. So that's a little annoying, but that's, again, not really too much on the heat side of it. It's more on the cooling side of it. So would I recommend a system like this? I think if I did it over again, I would not do a system like this. I don't think it's worth the added benefit unless you really love warm floors. You don't really notice it until you go to some place that doesn't have in-floor heat and you're like, oh, my toes are cold. So it's really nice in some situations like that. It's really nice that it's even, but I think the downfalls are the air system. Again, it depends on what your house is set up like and how your air system is set up too. So that's something to think about when you're looking at doing this. I would not add this after the fact to a home that's already built though. I would either do it when you're building a new house or not at all.